What's going on, everybody? Glad to be back. Still don't have a ton going on right now because it's still very wet. I was going to show you a few things real quick. This old barn here, or shed, whatever you want to call it, trying to get everything cleaned out of it because she about to fall. I think y'all can see, I believe you could probably see how everything is leaning and kind of wobbly jawed. You can see these boards broken, and I know somebody's watching this like, dude, what are you doing standing in there? But I'll just try to run out if it goes. Yeah, you ought to really be able to see those. Those should be straight up and down, but instead they're meep way over there. So this old barn, we used to keep our livestock trailer here. We had a 7210 here, sprayer, old square baler there, the water trailer there. See, the tornado came through and blew that roof off. And then we had straight line winds, I think, that actually did that. I don't think the tornado really did much to that. I'm pretty sure it was straight line winds. Guys, hit that like button, hit subscribe, helps out a lot, just helps exposure for the channel. And hit the little bell, because as we got a lot of subscribers and I want to get the views up, we need to build that audience. So I need you to hit the little bell, and that way it'll notify you when I post an episode. Check this out. This was also over in there. This is a porta potty that I got, oh gosh, years ago, and I made it into a deer blind. I just never have put it out anywhere. Make sure there might be a varmint in there. I took the toilet part out, which honestly, in hindsight, I might should have left. You know, the pain hits me sometimes whenever I'm hunting. I am still not right. I have been sick for like a month. I had strep, and we're pretty sure basically turned into the flu, and that was back right after Christmas. It is January 30th. And my chest is very congested, and got a cough that I can't shake. I like even wheezy sounding when I breathe back in. I did just start taking medicine. I haven't been taking any medicine, but I don't know, you may be like me, one of those unfortunate people that if you take a decongestant, it actually spikes your blood pressure. I don't know, last year or year before, I always would take Mucinex, Theraflu, and all this stuff. Every year I feel like I get one of these bad colds. Man, I could like feel my heartbeat in my head. And I went to the doctor just to get some medicine for the junk in my chest and everything. And they were like, bro, your blood pressure is way too high. You got to get off of these decongestants. So I have to take specific medication or medicine for high blood pressure. I didn't know they had any Mucinex for it, but I found some. So I just recently started that, hoping that'll knock this out. I showed you guys my EDC there that one day, that P365. So I figured I'd show you my other one. This is my truck gun. It's a Palmetto State pistol. And I don't remember, it's got like a 10.5-inch barrel or so on it. And I got a ride-on optic on there. Of course I got a sling on it that I got kind of draped over it because I keep it tucked right there, just ready to go. But I love this little gun, and it's a Palmetto State. I'm a big fan of theirs. I have put probably 1,000 to 1,500 rounds through this rifle. I've never had trouble out of it. So I know people like to hate on them because they are more budget friendly, which I think is really stupid to give them crap about that. But the gun is awesome. I like to run these 45s just in the chance that my red dot dies. You can just crank that gun sideways and you got iron sights. And I did put a Radian charging handle on there, the Radian Raptor charging handle. I just like it better. It's ambidextrous as well. But that's my truck gun there, and it is a 5.56. I prefer 5.56 to 2.23 just because it'll shoot either or. I've coughed so much, I think I've like pulled a muscle right there, kind of in underneath my pec. We got basically a little bitty right now it's kind of just a small pond, and I would like to have a good little fishing area. So I've been thinking about trying to get the track hoe or something over here and seeing if I can't really make this a nice pond. Man, listen to the bullfrogs. Let's see if they get quiet as I walk over here. I had a buddy of mine just recently reach out to me, and we were just kind of talking about the struggle of farming. And he's a young guy. He's trying to get started in it. He works in farming, but he would like to get some of his own land and get things going. And honestly, we just got to talking about how discouraging other farmers are. And I told him, I said, dude, I absolutely can relate. You know, there's a page I'm on Facebook. I won't mention the name, but it's a really large farming page. And on that page, you see all the time somebody will pop the question up, hey guys, thinking about getting into farming. What's your thoughts? I've been wanting to do this forever, yada, yada, yada. Inevitably, it'll be 300 comments. Get a bunch of comments, bunch of reaction, and it never fails. Half of them or more are, don't do it, you won't make any money. There's no money in farming. I get tickled because you'll see a guy, he'll say, there's no money in farming. You go to his Facebook page and his wife doesn't work, and they just got back from Hawaii, and he's a farmer. And I'm like, okay. And then the next picture is them and their vehicles, and they got a Denali Duramax and, you know, $100,000 truck. And his wife, she's got a Yukon XL loaded up. They are smart enough to choose Chevrolet or GMCs instead of Fords. Sorry, Ford guys. They've got $200,000 worth of vehicles. They just got back from a $10,000 trip or vacation. They got a nice house. They go to the lake. They do all these things. And he's just a farmer. They're just living off of his income as a farmer. Yet, farmers don't make any money, he says. Farming, the money can be great, but it's just very unpredictable. Like it's not a guarantee. Whereas, you know, these other jobs, well, if you got a salary job, you work for somebody, you know, okay, I'm gonna make $60,000 a year, you know, $80,000, $100,000, whatever, a year. Well, in farming, you just don't have that guarantee that you're gonna make that good of money. And I mean, if you have you can have bad years, but guys, I've had great years. In this 10 years, last year was the worst year I've ever had, but I spent a lot of money. And, you know, if I had run a really lean ship last year, we would have done okay. I mean, it still probably would have been the worst year financially that I've had, but we would have done a lot better than we did. But we built a farm store. We had to do a lot of dirt work, buy a lot of gravel. We spent a lot of money last year. You don't stay in business if you don't make any money. And these guys that are 20-year farmers or 30-year farmers that are like, there's no money in farming, you're full of crap. If there was no money in farming, then by God, you wouldn't be farming anymore. The stressful part essentially is the money. I mean, I'm stressed this year because I'm trying to just figure out how in the crap I'm gonna make it all work out and all pencil out. So I'm not saying that the money is just flowing like crazy, but if you really run a tight ship, there is money to be made in farming. I don't remember, I Googled one time like average income of a farmer. I think it said like 60,000 a year. But again, I don't even know what they're basing that off of. I will tell you, I think diversity is key. I think you need to set up your operation where you have a couple of different revenue streams, I think is the better way. And that's what I'm trying to do now. I know some farmers and they do really well. They make a lot of money. Now, small farmers is going to be harder because you're growing. You're trying to start your operation and your expenses are high. That is where I am at. I am in a place where I'm just drowning in equipment debt. And I can't really afford to get rid of any other equipment because, as I've shared in previous videos, I want to be able to grow. I want my operation to be set where, because I have the potential to pick up some more ground, I want to be ready if I pick up that ground. You know, I could downgrade combines. I could sell one of my hopper bottoms. I could part ways with this or downgrade that, and I could get by what I'm working. But one, I would pretty much be limping through what I got, and if I picked up something, I'd have to buy something, so I'd be right back in a place of having to purchase more. I'm in a tough spot financially right now just because I've been growing. It's a good thing to be in, but I'm basically surviving till I can get some stuff paid off and kind of get that equipment cost down. But I just laugh at these guys that have been farming forever. They say there's no money in it. If your 17-year-old kid that's in high school has a brand new F-250 Platinum and all this stuff, I mean, the money's coming from somewhere, guys. That's where I kind of laugh. I just get a kick out of that, and it annoys me because it just goes back to my main frustration. And that's the fact that, guys, we've got to have young people in agriculture. If there are no young people coming into agriculture, the industry is gonna die. There's no shortage of people that want to enter the agriculture industry, and I have no doubt in my mind that a lot of them that do aren't necessarily built to handle the stress and the business side of things. Like, it's funny, farming is weird in that you got to be a very like blue collar guy or gal, but at the same time you've got to be a businessman. You got to know how to keep the chain rolling, keep the chain turning, I guess, or the cog turning financially. Like, you might be the best farmer ever, but if you can't do any business side, you're gonna fail. And so you've got to learn the marketing side and the cash flow side and all these things. So there's a lot to it, but I think there's a ton of young people that are very interested in learning these things and doing that, and they just aren't getting opportunities. They're getting talked out of it by these negative Nancy's that are like, there's no money in it. They pull up in their Denali or their Platinum King Ranch that 10,000. And I think it boils down to a couple of things. One, you spend a fortune in farming. I mean, you spend a dadgum fortune to really make, I mean, you make like 1/10 of what you spend. And I think that jades people a lot of times. I mean, you know, you spend 90% of your income on bills and you try to take home the other 10 or whatever. So I think that jades people a little bit that are in it, because I've been there. I think it boils down to that, honestly, a lot of them don't want more people to get into farming. I think if guys were really honest, they would admit they just don't want to see more farmers because it is competition. That's more competition for them or for their family to have to face. And look, I get it. I get that. I mean, I'm a farmer in a farming town. We have quite a few farmers around me. It's very competitive. If there were less farmers here, would it make my life easier? Yeah, it would. It'd be more opportunity for me. But I realize that that's actually not good for agriculture as a whole. You need people in the industry. Now, I would go so far as to say we need certain people in the industry, because what I don't want to see is any more of these backstabbing, just greedy turds that get into farming. And trust me, we got them around here. There's plenty. I could name multiple right now, but I'm not trying to do that. But I'm just telling you, they're there. We don't need any more of those. We need good, honest people that just honestly want to see farming and agriculture thrive. So, you know, that's my 2 cents. I think you have a jaded people that they spend a fortune of money to make a little bit of money. And when you're spending, if you make 10%, you know, and you spend $1 million, that's still $100,000. You get some of these big operations, they're spending $5 million, that's $500,000. Now, I'm not saying, can't tell you that's exactly what they're making, but that's a lot of money. And so but you spend a lot of money. So I think they get jaded to the costs, and it makes them say, well, there's no money in it. And it's like, bro, you're making money. Which also in farming, a lot of your money is in assets. Like this truck I'm in, this is my Ram service truck. This is part of my money. This is an asset. I've got a tractor, got my combine, all these things. I've got land. Like, my money isn't a physical bank account as much as it's like, there's my money. And so I think guys get jaded, and I do believe that some of them, that's just like, man, I don't want anybody else in the game because you ain't born into this. We don't need the competition. You just stay out. And that is the wrong mentality, but I think that that is the mentality that quite a few in the ag industry have. So my advice on that is ignore them. Don't listen to those guys. Figure out a way to make money. Again, I've been in this is my 10th season. I've made money every year but last year. Figure out a way to make money. Figure out a way to make it work. Don't be discouraged, because I'm rooting for you, and there's a lot of other guys that are rooting for you. Just be honest. Be a good, honest guy and go after it that way. Don't be a snake in the grass, please. Like I said, we got plenty of those already. Let's not add another one to the mix. A piece of encouragement. Maybe it's morbid, but it's true. One thing you got to think about, if you're a young guy, you're trying to get into farming, this is what you want to be doing. You do have one thing on your side versus these older established guys, and that's time. If they're in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s, they're still running operations, they're getting all the land and all that. Your 20s and 30s, they're a lot closer to the line than you are, theoretically. Now, you know, hey, stuff happens, people get sick, people die in car wrecks. I know all that, but statistically speaking, you got a lot more time on your hands than they do. So my biggest piece of encouragement is stay hungry, stay getting after it, and just try to stay in the game. Just keep learning and try to pick up a little bit of ground as you can. Just keep working to pick up more ground, and just keep learning so that way you're ready when these guys are out of the picture, because it will happen. Eventually the hands will shift, and I have to tell myself this, like, I'm still not where I want to be as far as the size of the operation, and I have to remind myself there's a lot of guys around here that are farming that are in their 70s and 80s. They're going to change hands, and they may have kids, but they're inevitably going to lose some land, and I want to be in a position where I can strike while the iron is hot. So that's what I'm trying to do. And again, that's why I try to set myself up in a way where I have the equipment to efficiently handle if suddenly I found myself picking up 500 more acres or 1,000 more acres. Don't get discouraged by these negative Nancy's that are in the mix. Honestly, a lot of them just don't want to see you farming, but we need you farming. We need new blood. We need young guys in the game. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, comment below. Let me know any topics you'd like. I've got several topics to cover. I know people want me to talk about sprayers. I've screenshotted every time somebody comments a topic or a question. I try to screenshot it so that I can jump on that as soon as I get a chance. And guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Again, hit that like button, hit subscribe, hit the little bell so it lets you know when I drop these videos. And you'll be getting a new one from me later this week. Take care.